Is your pop-up form actually capturing subscribers, or is it just annoying your visitors? Most e-commerce brands don't realize the difference between a 3% converting pop-up and a 8% converting pop-up actually amounts to hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. Now, after working with hundreds of 7- and 8-figure brands, I've learned that most of them are stuck below a 5% opt-in rate just because they don't properly test or optimize their forms. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step how to build and optimize a Klaviyo pop-up form that actually converts. Okay, so the first thing to run through before we even dive into anything else is just what types of sign-up forms are there, because if you get this wrong, the rest doesn't really matter. There are 5 different types of sign-up forms you can use on Klaviyo. There are pop-ups, which are just windows that appear based off of a trigger, like a time on the page or an exit intent. There's full page, which fills the entire page out. It works similar to a pop-up. The third is a flyout, which is kind of a less intrusive form, but it slides out from the bottom or the side. Oftentimes it's like the right corner. The fourth is the embed forms. These are just going to be static forms placed on usually the footer of your page. And then finally, you'll have banners that appear at the top or bottom of your page. So if you're on Klaviyo here, you can go to the left-hand side, go to website, go to sign up forms, and then click create blank form. So you could just call this test and then choose a form type. So you can choose any of the form types here. You could say like, hey, I'm going to choose a pop-up. I would recommend a pop-up or a full page. The other ones I would not recommend using. You want to select the list that we're going to add people to. So I'm going to say it's going to be added to the newsletter, and then I'm going to save and design. Now what it's going to do is it's going to give you kind of this baseline, usually where I'll start. Now what it's going to do is it's going to give you a baseline. So let's just go back to my other screen and I'll show you where a lot of brands go wrong and what to do as you're setting this up. Because if you just start with what you're given, it's probably not going to perform all that well. Okay, so the problem that I see with most brands is that most brands think of a pop-up form or a sign-up form as an afterthought, right? You've already got traffic that you're paying for though. So any sort of improvement to your opt-in rate here will just have a massive incremental lift on your revenue. So if you increase your pop-up from 3 to 6%, that is a 100% increase, which means 100% more subscribers entering your flows, which means 100% more subscribers added to your list for campaigns. It is wild how much of an impact what seems like small changes can have. Even small changes like language with your pop-ups can have huge impacts. Now, what your pop-up might look like right now, if you have one, might be something like this, or it might be something like the one you just saw in Klaviyo. Either way, not super great. If it looks like this, please change it. There's a lot of things that are wrong with this one, starting with like the language that they're using, how, it doesn't really grab people's attention. And I'll get into that a little bit more here in a second. So these are a few examples of what a winning pop-up form actually looks like. Now, you should be targeting a 8 to 12% conversion rate. This first example is actually from MailChimp. Actually, it's from a company that MailChimp acquired. And the second one is just one we designed using Klaviyo. Now, there's a couple of different platforms you can use if you want to create really aesthetic looking pop-ups. However, you can get a pretty good looking pop-up just by using Klaviyo. You can also gather that zero-party data. Again, it's not going to look quite as pretty, but it'll do the exact same thing. This one for pillow slides that we created right below here was converting between 8 and 12% consistently. I think it was above 10% like for 6 months. And then we were testing things and changing things and whatnot as well. Now, the core things you'll notice here is number one, you don't start with a page that looks like this, right? You don't start with enter your email and then continue. What continue implies is that there is a next step. If you're implying a next step, people are probably going to be less likely to want to start something if they know there's a next step. Whereas with this one, all you're asking is just like, hey, you've got this amount. To claim it, share what you expect from us, pretty much. Like, what is your desired outcome? What is your current pain point? And then unlock discount. So the language there is a lot less, hey, there's another like 14 different steps here. And the benefit here is that you're actually collecting zero-party data. This is something that a lot of brands don't do, but especially for a pain point driven product, collecting zero-party data is super, super important. Now, the next slide here, you'll see it's just the email. We're consistent with the headline and we're collecting the email here. And then finally, we're collecting SMS. The last page where you want to make sure that you're not giving people the offer here. A lot of people are like, oh, well, your conversion rates will go down. No, the purpose of your pop-up in the first place is to collect people's emails. If you collect people's emails and they don't go check their email, there's a high probability that they will never look at that email again, right? And if they don't look at that email again, that is not a great sign to Gmail, to Yahoo, to any of the ESPs that you're using or that receive emails, because what it's indicating indicating is like, hey, the first email that you sent to someone, they didn't open, they were not interested. Probably not a great thing, right? So what we want to do is make sure people check. We want to make sure it's frictionless, but we do want to make sure people check their email, because otherwise there's not really a point in collecting the email in the first place. So how do you actually get this right? Like I said, the first thing you want to start with is the layout. So the layout that we use for all of our clients is a teaser, email step, SMS step, and then thank you page. The second is the design. What you'll notice with these designs is they are super clean, super easy. There's not a lot of noise. There's not a ton of like, I mean, aside, you need this legally, the disclaimer on the SMS form, but there's not a lot of like extra language in either of these, right? We're collecting that zero party data and the offer is super, super upfront. So keep it clean, use imagery to increase those opt-in rates, especially with desktop, right? Mobile, you're a little bit more restricted, but you can have a lot of fun with the design too, right? 3 is the offer. Make sure the offer is super clear. I would recommend just starting with 10% off because it is standard. It is proven to work. Don't start with something super obscure. And if you do start with something obscure, I would split test it against a consistent variable. So like split test it with 10% off. If you want to do a dollar amount versus a percentage off, there's actually a lot of science behind this, or a lot of research behind this. But like if you have a product that is higher AOV, then using the dollar amount will actually perform better than using like a 10% off. So for example, if you have a $10,000 product and you say you get $1,000 off, that sounds a lot better than 10% because people have to do the math, but $1,000, they're like, $1,000 is a lot of money, right? So make sure that the offer is very clear. And like I said, start with something you know that works. If your margins can't support a good offer, make it a mystery, right? If like you can't, the highest you could possibly do is like 3%. That sucks, right? Like that is not like enticing at the least. So what you'd want to do then is make it a mystery offer or frame it somewhere different, or just do something else, or maybe give something away for free, right? If your margins are that tight. 4th is just optimization. So building one separately for mobile, separate for desktop, and then split testing accordingly. And then 5th here is collecting zero party data. This is kind of a bonus, but also it's like, why would you not? Now, the biggest mistakes that we see with pop-ups are number 1, poor timing, like displaying pop-ups the moment someone steps foot on the website, or just too late. Like they have like a 30-second or a 50-second time delay. You're losing way too many people in that scenario. 2 would be too many input fields. If you're asking for like birthday, first name, last name, email, phone number, your SIN number, like all of that, like it's going to put people off. And the more things you ask, the worse it's going to do. With a asterisk, having zero party data formatted the way that I've showed you actually improves conversion rate for pretty much every client that we've tested it on, which is wild, right? It's a little bit counterintuitive, but the idea psychologically is that you're getting someone to micro commit. It's a micro commitment because they're like, yes, I want this thing. And then they're like, oh shit, well, I got to add my email then. 3rd is just generic messaging. If you are just having a super, like if you have a really, really generic messaging or offer or whatever it is, it's not going to work all that great. 4th is not optimizing for mobile. If you have a desktop layout in mobile, that is no bueno. Now, when you go to create pop-ups now in Klaviyo, they automatically create a mobile one, which is kind of nice. I mean, they used to have one that was like semi-optimized for mobile, but it wasn't all that sexy. It ended up just being like a white background with black text, which kind of sucked. And then finally is just lack of A/B testing. This is the point where you want to test so much because it is the point where you can have the biggest impact, right? You'll get way more people into your flows and way more people into your campaigns if you double your opt-in rate, if you triple your opt-in rate. We have literally tripled and quadrupled clients' opt-in rates, not by changing the offer, but by changing the setup, the layout, the language of the offer. It has pretty profound impacts. So keep that in mind. So let me show you how to actually set this up properly. So when you're in the Klaviyo dashboard, the first thing you're going to see is a teaser here, right? So the teaser is just this little button that pops up either on the left-hand side. You can change it so that it shows up at the corner. You can change it so that it shows up in the top corner, in the top right, in the bottom right, wherever you really want. Now, a couple of things to note here. The first thing, and you can change it to the middle as well. You could change whether it's a circle or a rectangle or a corner or whatever. Obviously, a corner can only be on the corner. But the thing to consider here is, what does your navigation look like? So I would really highly recommend that you go and you check if you're planning on using one of these, is it impeding any sort of navigation? If you've got like a chat feature or a chat widget or something else that will be blocked, or that will be like things are going to be double stacked or whatever, I wouldn't recommend using it. Honestly, we haven't seen any increase actually by adding one of these teasers on board. So what I would recommend is just deleting it, to be totally frank. So let's start there. The next thing is going to be your first page. They actually have this set up properly on this one, right? So you have a survey. We call it like zero-party data. It really is just a survey, right? Here, they're just asking for, it's like, hey, you've got a discount on your first order. Yes, please. No, thanks. Language, not that great. Could be better, but it's not the end of the world, right? You're going to want to optimize your language. You're going to want to make sure that your offer sounds compelling, and you're going to want to make sure that this action step doesn't sound like they need to commit to more things in order to do it. So yes, please. Sure. That's pretty weak though. You know, if it's, for example, if you've got like 10% off, it might be like claim my 10% off, or claim 10% off, or get my 10% off, or get 10% off, whatever. You might want to split test different things there, but usually if you've got an offer, incorporating that offer into the CTA will go a long way. No thanks is good. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, some brands are like, hey, no, I don't like discounts. Psychologically, that does a thing because you have to click that button. You have to be like, I don't like discounts. It's gotten me before. I hate it. And every time I see it, I'm like, this is marketing, right? So just keep that in mind here as you're building this out. It'll give you the mobile and it'll give you the desktop version here. You can also switch here and look at what it looks like on mobile, what it looks like on desktop alone, and take it from there. Now, the next kind of pieces you're going to want to look at, I mean, apart from stylistic things, right? You can look at changing all of your fonts, borders, layouts, label color, all of that kind of stuff. You can do all of that in here. The other thing you can do though is set up your targeting. This is really important. This is what I was talking about with regards to time delays and whatnot. Number one, in what situations do we want this pop-up to show up for, right? So we usually just select based off of rules. You could have this based off of when someone's exiting the page. We will often do like an exit intent, like a separate pop-up too. And then what we'll do is we'll set a time delay. Now, I might recommend starting with like an 8-second or 12-second or 15-second. It kind of just depends on where your traffic's coming from and the average duration that people stay on the site. What will happen is the longer you delay, usually the higher your opt-in rates are going to be, right? Because think about it, you probably have higher value people. You probably have people who have higher intent, people who are more interested. If someone just hits the page and 8 seconds later they get the opt-in or they get the pop-up, they're probably gonna be like, maybe, I don't know, possibly test it, right? We want to optimize for both volume and quality, right? So you don't want to like delay it by like 50 seconds because that would be silly. And then after a visitor has scrolled a certain amount, you can test this. Usually we'll do somewhere between 30 and 50% here. And if you want to create other ones based off of higher engagement metrics, you could say like after visiting a certain amount of pages or whatever that might be. This next one is frequency. This is really important because you don't want people to constantly be seeing this, right? So usually what we'll do here is have like a 5-day, if we want to be really aggressive, maybe a 7-day, maybe a 10-day. And we want to make sure people aren't seeing it every single day, right? And then what we want to do is actually back here, when you're optimizing, usually what we like to do within our agency is create one, even though you can see like a desktop and a mobile version here, usually what we like to do is actually create one just for desktop and then create one just for mobile instead. The reason for that is just because then you have more visibility into the data, right? You're able to see things that you might not otherwise be able to see when you're looking at just one pop-up and just the pop-up for mobile or just the pop-up for desktop, right? You can break things down a lot better. If you're using external reporting, you can break that down better. Even within Klaviyo, it's better too. So keep that in mind. The other piece here that you're going to look at is the targeting here. So looking at visitors, you want to make sure that this is on. Like, don't show 2 existing Klaviyo profiles. You will piss off people who are already subscribed. It will make no sense and you will make no more money. The next thing here is just if you want to exclude certain locations or certain URLs, what I would recommend is if you do have a lot of like organic traffic, or if you have a lot of traffic from social or anything like that, what I'd recommend doing is excluding certain countries. No shade, but like India, Pakistan, usually those countries are going to be lower intent, and oftentimes there's going to be a lot of traffic, and you don't want a bunch of people from India who are not interested in actually purchasing your product, right? So usually and you might want to consider that depending on location restrictions, but also if you're selling in different markets, you might want to have different offers for those different markets because different things can resonate with different people. And then the URL. So if you want to restrict it on certain pages, you can do that right here too. Now the next piece is just your email opt-in. This is really basic, but all you need to do is add this field in. What it's going to be labeled as here is going to be your internal labeling, so people aren't going to see that. This is going to be what the placeholder looks like. So this would be like your best email, and then that's going to change that in here, right? This claim discount button, you need to set up the action for this, and you need to set up what list you want it to submit to, because this is where people are subscribing to. This is the list that people are subscribing to, which is why I selected the newsletter. newsletter, right? So the action is going to be submit form. It's going to submit to the newsletter list. And then after submitting, it's going to show the next step, which is the success page. Then what you want to do is just say like, these are the next steps. This is what you have to do. Go do this thing. Go check your inbox, whatever it is, right? Or keep shopping, whatever you want people to do, whatever the action is that you want people to take. Okay, so now that we've gone through that, the next piece here is just A/B testing. So I've already talked about this a little bit, but these are some of the variables you're going to want to test. These are the highest leverage to lowest leverage variables that you can test with the pop-up. The first is the offer. Again, what I was talking about there with like a 10% off versus a $10 off, they can have radically different impacts on your results and on your opt-in rates. I would highly recommend testing your offer before you even test anything else. Timing would be the next one here. Timing, so you could test like an 8-second versus 15-second versus longer if you want to do that. The third would be design. So design would be like testing an image heavy versus testing a very text focused layout. The fourth is going to be your call to action. So testing out a claim your offer or sign up now or whatever. These are kind of weak, to be honest, but like what I would start with is like incorporating the offer or not incorporating the offer, using like first person language or using non-first person language. So like claim my 10% off versus claim your 10% off versus get 10% off, whatever it might be. So you might want to test those different call to actions. But again, you're going to want to test these things first. And then finally, shape and size. So just, there's a lot of cool things. I've seen a lot of really cool pop-ups, and you can just try something a little bit more unique. If you sell something that's like, I don't know why my brain goes here, but slime or something like that, you could do like a really cool pop-up where it's like circle, like rounded corners, and it looks like a slime on your phone screen or something like that. I think that could be really, really cool. You could do that probably with supplements, skincare, that type of thing too. But a lot of really cool things you could do there. My testing rule: whenever you're testing, keep everything else consistent. Run tests long enough so that you understand what the results are, but also don't change 100 things and then be like, this is the thing that worked, because then you won't have real conclusive data. Now, the last thing that I would recommend adding in, if you aren't doing this already, and if you haven't heeded my recommendation earlier, is just adding in zero-party data. Now, the zero-party data that we usually collect is data that, and if you don't know where to start, this is where to start, is information customers are going to intentionally share with you. So what we want to do here is we want to ask one of two types of questions, either a problem and solution style question. Our goal here is to reveal like a gap between where they're at right now and their desired state. And the second one would be a product related question, right? This would be like, what preferences do you have, so that we can personalize things a little bit more. So this could be like product, category, collection. It could be like men's, women's, and children, for example. For problem and solution questions, it's oftentimes like, what is the current pain point you're experiencing, or what is the desired outcome that you're looking for from the product? That's the long and short of it. So if you incorporate that zero-party data, you're gonna not only, you should improve your opt-in rates, you're also going to gather a lot more information that is super, super helpful about your ideal customer. So that is pretty much that. That is exactly how we build our pop-up forms, sign-up forms, whatever you want to call them, inside of our agency for our 7- and 8-figure clients. If you don't want to do this yourself and you have a 7- or 8-figure brand and you want us to do your pop-ups, your email marketing, your flows, whatever it might be, your retention ecosystem, go ahead. There's a link just below this video where you can schedule in a call to see if we can help you out. We will, at the very least, give you a free audit and see if it might make sense to work together. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please give it a like. And if you are so inclined, also subscribe. Thanks so much and have a great day.